Welcome to part 2 of my guide to build your first gaming PC in 2025. If you've watched part 1, you've selected and ordered your parts and now you're ready to start building. In this video, I'll show you the entire build process, so stick around to the end and leave a like if you find anything useful. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is grab the motherboard and take it out. Take all this stuff out. I'm gonna install the RAM first. So I got 16 gigs here. DDR5. So if you look close on this motherboard, you can see you want to install them. You see, if you look at here, you can see how it says first. DDR5, you want to use A2 and B2 first, so I'm going to do that. And you just line up the notch. It's keyed, so it can only go in one way. So you put it in and then click in one side, click in the other side. Do the same thing with the other one. Okay, so that's in. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is install the SSD. So I got this 2 terabyte, I guess. So I'm gonna take out these screws here. Then these fingers here on the right side are gonna slot in right down here. So I'm gonna take off this protective cover here for the thermal pad. So that notch there on that right side, it's toward the notch is like on the bottom. It's gonna line up with that notch there on that bottom part. So just push it in and then push down the other side. And it should go underneath that, that little thing there. And then you kind of need 2 hands for this. It's a little hard to film it, but the latch here, you kind of move it over like this, and that secures it down. And then I'll just put this cover back on. I'm gonna take off this little plastic cover here before I forget. All right, now I'm gonna install the CPU. So I have this Ryzen 5 9600X. So to do this, you want to open up this latch here. So you push it down, move it out from under this little arm there, and then pull it back. You're just gonna lift this up. Okay, so be careful here because these pins are exposed and they're very delicate. So what you want to look for is there's a little triangle there on the metal engraved. That's going to line up with this triangle here on the CPU on the top left. So we're going to just put it down and we're going to try to line it up. Try not to touch the bottom. So we're just going to put it down here, drop it in as low as you can go. And then I give it a very small, gentle wiggle. Don't press down at all, just to make sure it's in place. So then we can close the latch. So we want to make sure that little bar in the middle is pressing down on that metal piece there. Okay. And then push the arm down, put it underneath, and the cover should come off here, just like that. And make sure to save this packaging in case you need to send back the CPU. And also make sure to save this cover here, because if you need to send back the motherboard, you're gonna have to put this cover back on. So I usually just leave it in the motherboard box. So I'm gonna work on the cooler now. So I always read the instructions just to make sure I'm putting it on right. Just make sure don't use that much thermal paste. It looks like a little much. But I have the AMD one, so I don't need to install the backplate. There's already a backplate on there. So I could just take off these two little legs here and get started with this. So I'm gonna take off the brackets that are installed on here. These are like pre-installed brackets that they put on the AMD motherboards for the default cooler, but I'm using this cooler, so I'm gonna have to take these off. So there's two little screws in this package. Those are to install these onto the bottom of the cooler. So I'm gonna install these legs here. So it's gonna go like this. You're gonna screw it in from the bottom. Just like this. Okay, so this is how it looks. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side too. All right, so I'm gonna apply the thermal paste that came with it. And I'm not gonna use as much as they showed, but I'm gonna use like a line down the middle. There's different ways to do this, but this is how I like to do it. Just don't use too much. Okay. And then make sure to peel this off here. You definitely don't want to leave this cover on, or you're gonna have overheating problems. So you need thermal contact with these heat pipes on the bottom here. So we're gonna stick this on. Okay, and just place it on top for now. And then I'm gonna start tightening. You wanna tighten opposite corners. So I'm just gonna try to get the screws started, like threading in. So I'll start on this screw. Okay, so that one started. And then I'll move to this one here on the back left. Just push it down and try to get it started. Okay, and we're tightening at opposite corners to apply like even pressure to the CPU, and then the thermal paste will spread out more evenly. So then thread this one in. And you're gonna have to push down a little bit because there's springs on these. And then we'll do the back right one. Now that they're all started, I'm just gonna keep going around in the star pattern. So opposite corners. Until, well, you'll know when this is fully tightened. The screws will kind of like lock in place. You won't be able to tighten it anymore. Just go a little bit at a time on each one. Okay, so that one's already all the way in. Now this one, that one's all the way in. Opposite corner. That one's in. And that one's now in too. So now they're all in. So looking good. All right, so we're gonna install the fan now. So this is the inside here with this label, and this is the outside, and the wire's gonna go on the bottom. And so we want to get these clips on, and the clips go on the outside here. So let me put these on. So just like this. Okay. Then I'll put it on the other one. Put on this one. Then the fan will just clamp on. And just pull these clips so that they go through the fins here. And they lock in. Okay. So this is secure. So if you look here, the bar is in front of those fins there, just clamping it on both sides. And then we'll plug in the CPU fan. You can see here, CPU fan 1, just plug that in. There's a little notch on the connector. It's gonna line up with the notch on the CPU fan 1. You just plug that in. Okay, so that's plugged in. So now we have the motherboard prepped and ready. We're gonna get started at putting it in the case now. All right, so now I got the case on the table. I'm just gonna take the side panel off. Just be careful with this because it's glass. Just put it in a safe spot. And then cases will have a little thing of hardware. So I'm gonna just open that up for mounting. And I'm actually gonna put this upright just to get out these wires here. I'm gonna take both side panels off. I'll take the other side panel off. Just comes out. And I'm just gonna deal with these cables real quick. Just gonna get rid of these twist ties here. You don't really want these to stay in the PC. You want to use plastic zip ties. Because these twist ties, if the paint comes off, these are made of metal, so they could short out stuff. So I'm gonna install the power supply next before the motherboard. I think it'll make it a little bit easier before I put the motherboard in. So I'm just gonna do it like that. Comes with some zip ties. All the cables are here. And so on the power supply, you want the intake fan is on the bottom here. So that's gonna go facing down. So this is gonna save me a little bit of hassle, but I'm gonna install these cables first before I slot the power supply in. So I already know what cables I need here. So I'm just gonna install these and then I'll put the power supply in and put the screws in. So this side is for the motherboard here. And this side is for the power supply. So put the CPU in here. There's 2 CPU cables, I believe. Okay, install those. I'm not gonna need any SATA, so I only have the one M.2. And then I think I only need this one PCIe cable, so that goes down here. And 24-pin motherboard connector is this here, big cable. Just make sure that's all the way clicked in. And I'm pretty sure that's all I need here. Now I'm just gonna put it in through the back here. They only want you to install this power supply one way, which is the fan on top. If I put it in the other way, the screw holes don't line up. So that's just one thing. When you're building a computer, sometimes you have to adapt to what you're dealing with, and I didn't know that I would have to do that, but basically I need the fan on top because it's not going to be able to intake from underneath this case. The case is already very flat against the bottom, so that you can't intake from underneath. So I'm just going to put it in, fan on top, put the screws in. These are the screws that came with the power supply. I'm just going to place it inside, and then you want to line up the there's standoffs on the bottom. Just line up all these standoffs, and there's actually right here where my finger is, there's a peg that you don't put a screw in this one. It's more for alignment, but it'll help you get it positioned. And then just make sure the IO is lined up here on the side. I come over here, I just make sure this is aligned properly, which it looks like it is. And now I can just install the screws. So I'm gonna just check the case manual, make sure I'm using the right screws here for the motherboard. So I just double checked here, but for motherboard installation, right here, it says the 632 by 5mm screws. So I'll grab those. That's these screws here. So I'll install these now. I'm not going to tighten them all the way yet until I have all of them in. I think that might be it. Just double check you put all the screws in. All right, so now I'm just going to tighten them up. Just a little bit more. You don't need to go too crazy. Okay. So that's good. Now we can stand up the case again. So I'm just gonna take these cables all out from the back here. Just see what I'm working with. These are the ones I plugged into the power supply already. And I need the CPU cable. This is what I'm looking for. So I want to put this one in place. It's gonna go, both of these are gonna go up here. So I'm just gonna put them through. And I'm gonna stick them through the top here. There's a little slot up here. And just get them in place. Just like that. So I got an 8-pin and a 4-pin right here. So I'm gonna have to take these. These are 2 8-pins, but actually they have a clip there, so you can separate them. So I'm gonna use one of them as the 8-pin, and then use a 4-pin from the other one. So I'll do that. So I'll plug in this first one here. And then the second one, I'm gonna separate the 2 pieces. So this comes apart. And then I'm gonna use one of these for the last 4 pins. It's kind of hard to see what I'm doing here. And then to make it look a little bit neater, because there's this dangling part here, I'm just gonna tuck it underneath, zip tie it here, and then it's gonna look a little bit nicer. So now that that's in place, I'm gonna get this fan cable plugged in. It's gonna go on the bottom. So I'm just gonna, to make it a little neater, I'm gonna put it through the back and then come out through this hole right here on the bottom left here. So go over. And it's gonna come through here. Okay, this is the only fan that's on this computer. Okay, Then I'm gonna take the 24 pin motherboard connector, put it through here. Just make sure you got the clip on the correct side. Just bend it over and plug this thing in. Just make sure it's all the way clicked in on both sides. I usually look at the actual side of it. Let's see if I can get an angle here. I just want to make sure there's no gaps around it. Maybe from this side. But you want to make sure there's no gaps where it's connected. So we have these cables here. These are built into the case. This is a front panel connector, USB 3 from the front, and then this is the USB-C on the front. So I'm just gonna route these through and connect these. There's a little notch on the bottom here. It's gonna go on, line up with the notch on the port, which is on that right side. Just plug that in. Then we have the USB-C, and that's gonna go through here. This one I think can plug in either way. Goes right here. Then we have the front panel. It's gonna go through the bottom. Front panel is this one. Gonna go through the bottom here. And there's a notch on this cable. You can see that. That's gonna line up with the blank pin on the connector. So this pin's actually a little bit bent. Might have to bend this back. And that wasn't from me or anything. It was just bent. So I'm just gonna make sure unbend it a little bit. Make sure this will be able to plug in. Okay, that's in. Then we got one more thing, the graphics card. So we need to free up some of these. I think, we'll see how many slots, but probably this top one. So I'll come around here. Gotta take this screw out. And then let me grab the GPU and see how many things I have to take out. Looks like I have to take out 2 of them, so I'll take out the second one. And it looks like on this case, there's actually like a cover there that we have to take off. So I'll remove that too. Or I guess this cover can slide back. Might just be able to loosen it. Slide it back. I'm gonna press this clip back so I can open it up. Okay. Just make sure, make sure the slot is lining up here and just push it in. It should lock in. And then I would like to hold on to it and then take one of the screws you took out. This isn't really the biggest GPU, but still want to hold it, and then put that screw in here. This will lock it in here. Make sure you're threading it in correctly. I'll put the other screw too back on the top. And then we can slide this piece back forward. Just tighten these 2 screws back up. Then we'll just plug in the power cable for the GPU. I routed it through the bottom, and then it's 8 pins, so take one of these and push it together. Plug it in. Okay, and that's good. And now we're pretty much done. We just need to do some cable management now on the back. All right, so the back, it's not really looking too bad actually. So we just want to get these cables like tighter in. We'll use some zip ties. There's some zip tie points on the back, and we'll just get it so we can close that side panel, and then we should be all set. All right, so cable management's looking good now. I can put the side panel back on. Okay. All right, so I've connected a monitor, keyboard, and mouse to it, and we'll see if it turns on now. And we'll follow the PC building superstition where we leave off the side panel the first time we turn it on. So let's just see what happens. So hopefully we'll get something showing on the monitor. So some lights flashing on the motherboard, which is a good sign. It's going through some hardware checks. Nice, so we saw the ASRock logo, we're in the BIOS, everything's going smooth. So the computer works, and now we're gonna install Windows. Thanks for following along with the PC build. Please leave a like on the video if you found something useful, and drop a comment below if you have questions. In part 3, I'll show you how to install Windows 11, the latest BIOS, necessary drivers, and everything else you need to get your brand new gaming PC up and running. So please stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching.